Are you looking to buy a first generation Lexus IS300 and don't know what to look out for? Well, this video is for you. This is everything you should know before buying an IS300. So let's get straight into it. So this video will be divided into sections, which is YouTubers you should watch that give you all the information that you need before buying an IS300, the maintenance, the specifications, the manual swap, the styling, and so on. So you could just scroll across the bookmark below if you want to skip to a certain part of the video. Starting off, we have Lunatics Media, the guy who has been posting IS300 content for years now, even before I bought my IS300 6 years ago, and has posted over 800 videos on his channel. He has everything from manual swap tips, to pulling out the 2JZ, to his journey with drifting, basically everything you need to know, surface level and a little bit deeper than surface level. Lunatics Media has you covered. He also owns a website called lunaticsco.com that has all the IS300 parts and maintenance parts that you need. Another YouTuber that I watch that if you want to get a little deeper into the IS300 wiring and specification side, this is Ben Tuner with Kids. Hopefully I'm pronouncing your last name right. But he goes so in depth with the IS300 chassis to the point of part numbers, to picking each bolt, washer, spring, and everything just to build a stock IS300 manual clutch pedal, which is insane. And if you want to see a perfect example of an IS300 when it comes to fitment, when it comes to engine swap, when it comes to styling, this is Henry JZX, another buddy of mine that started this channel and is pushing it really hard these days. He just hit 11,000 subscribers. Congratulations to you, man. And he has a perfect, I mean perfect looking and driving IS300. Let's go to the maintenance now and talk about that. So yes, this is my car right here because I installed a ball joint incorrectly. So IS300s, all generations of IS300s have this problem where if you don't replace your ball joint or install it incorrectly, this will happen to you. So luckily this was in a parking lot. I wasn't going too fast, but imagine what would happen if you were on the highway and this happened. Not to scare you off, but these ball joints are very cheap. They're like 30 bucks each. Just get the expensive ones, get the Moog ones. They're very cheap. Install them correctly. Search it up on YouTube. I'll put the links of all these channels and all these maintenance things down below in the description. But come on, first thing you need to do is replace the ball joints because that is the main problem with the IS300s. With the ball joints, might as well change the tie rod inners and the tie rod outers. Might as well. Just do the maintenance. If you don't want to do it yourself, take it to a mom and pop garage and let them do it and just spend the money because you don't want to end up like me. Now that you've got an IS300 or just want to know a lot about the chassis before diving deep into it, this is 2jzgarage.com. This is where I get all my torque specs. This is where I get all my service manual needs. So just here's an example for you. These are all the torque specs for the front spindle and suspension from the manufacturer, from Lexus, which is insane. It's in Newton meters and foot-pounds. Everything you need to know is on this website, which will also be linked in the description. From air conditioning, to body, to brake, charging, clutch, ignition, manual transmission, steering, suspension, everything you need to know. And look at these diagrams, they're very clear. They tell you what everything is, especially when replacing the evap hoses or anything. And everything is in these service manuals. Even repair procedures with these flowcharts to see what's wrong with your vehicle and how to fix it. Even to the wiring, to the resistors and everything. Everything you need to know about the specifics of the IS300 chassis is on this website, which is an insane source for us IS300 owners. So moving on from the boring specifications of the IS300 chassis, let's move on to the manual swap. I've made 3 or 4 videos on the manual swap, and there is a ton of information on YouTube and online how to manual swap your IS300, but my buddy owns this website called is300hub.com where he has an IS300 information section that covers a lot of information about the manual swap, including one of the documents that I made, which is this ultimate in-depth guide about what parts you need, to the parts numbers, to the little levers inside the transmission, as well as diagrams that you might need when converting a W58 to a W55, which I also made a video about. Like I talked about before, there are a ton of great videos on YouTube from Ben Tuner with Kids. For example, this video right here, as well as this video from Lunatics Media, talking about how to convert a W58 to a W55, as well as a lot of videos on my channel that go into the diagrams of the internals of the transmission, which is crazy. And here's a tip that I want to tell you because I've gone through the suffering of buying an old W58 transmission. If you want to rebuild the transmission, don't, because this is what happened to my transmission when I tried to rebuild it. Long story. Don't worry about it. Also, another thing, if the wheel bearings on your IS300 are going bad, don't try to fix it yourself. You need a press, you need a bearing press, because this is what happened to me. That's the ABS ring shattered. So honestly, take it to someone if you need the wheel bearings replaced and just let them do it. Pay for it. Moving on. Since I've already made a lot of videos on how to manual swap your IS300 or tips and tricks you should know before manual swapping your IS300, I'm just going to move on to the styling and social media side of the IS300 chassis. I don't know who this guy is or what his name is, but if you're into JDM cars, you know this Instagram page. It's getjapan.co.jp, I think, or .com. He personally has an IS300 that looks beautiful. And if you want any rare parts for the IS300 chassis or the Altezza chassis, which is basically the same chassis other than the engine and transmission, and of course one being left-hand drive and right-hand drive, contact this channel or this page right here. You can just DM them for any rare IS300 or Altezza parts that you might need. Also, if you want some old Altezza or IS300 magazines, you could go to is300hub.com, another buddy of mine, and he has an IS300 information section about body kits, styling, all the surface level information that you need to know about the IS300 chassis is on this website, and it's a great resource for you as well. Moving on to my favorite part of this video, which I'll make a in-depth video about it later on, is the IS300 styling. In my opinion, IS300s aren't the prettiest looking cars, but you can make them look gorgeous. This is my buddy's IS300, Jack Dunlap's IS300, one of, if not the best looking IS300s on Instagram, and he owns a company called Dunlap Aero Solutions, where he makes this aggressive looking combat eye that is actually pretty affordable and looks great. Also, here's another inspiration for IS300 styling, and I'm not going to get too deep into this because I'm going to make a whole nother video about IS300 styling, but J_CYRC85, CYR85, J sir, I never noticed that, honestly. But anyway, this IS300 is also gorgeous and another inspiration for me when styling my IS300. Another beautiful example is Average Mike, average.mike on Instagram, another beautiful aggressive looking IS300 that you should also look at and follow on Instagram. And finally, Henry's IS300, which is the perfect example of a street build of an IS300 with 255 square, a Vertex body kit, and a J-Blood hood. But that is all for today's video. But remember, all the YouTube channels, all the specification links, all the Instagrams that I've mentioned, and all the manual swap information will be linked below. Please leave a like and subscribe to the channel if you want more IS300 information, tips and tricks, and so on. But you know what to do. Hit that subscribe button, and I'll see you next Sunday. Peace.